it's Cara. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm creating in the Dina Wakley ledger journal. I created a pocket page on the bottom half of this page. So I've got this little tab or flap of a page left. So I just thought I'd create myself a little page today using some Dina Wakley masks. I've drawn it out onto this piece of cardboard, which is actually just a cereal packet. And I'm also drawing out some hearts because I want to have some hearts going across the page in the background. So I'm just going to cut that one out, and then by the magic of the internet, they're all cut ready. You didn't need to sit and watch me cut all those out. I'm sure you know how to use a pair of scissors. So now I'm just grabbing out some paints. I'm painting them in rainbow colours. So I'm just going to pop the paints out on my palette and obviously paint those hearts. The hearts were drawn through a stencil. It was just a stencil that I created on my Cricut or Cricut, however you pronounce it where you are, machine. I just drew through it just for quickness, really. You could hand draw your hearts, obviously, or paint them first, then cut them out. But the stencil was sitting right there, so I just grabbed it and drew through. So I'm just going to paint these in rainbow colours, really simply. Yeah, you don't really need that explaining. So, yeah, it's quite hot here in Morocco, so my paint dries quite quick, I've been learning. So I do try to just put a little bit of paint out at a time. Sometimes the paint drying quickly is a good thing, because I don't need to use the hairdryer to dry them for me. But sometimes it dries a bit quicker than I'm expecting. What's the weather like where you guys are? Drop me a comment in the box below. Let me know where you're creating from at the moment. It's when recording, it's a December day for us, but I don't believe you're going to watch this video until 2026. So I'm preparing a couple of videos because I'm on holiday for a month, so I just wanted to get myself ready for that so that I don't have to worry about them whilst I'm on holiday. And although I'll still be creating, I'm going to take a mini kit with me. I'm not sure if I will have well, I'll be recording them, but I'm not sure about the editing time and stuff. You know, I want to enjoy. We're going to Thailand and we've never been before, so I want to kind of go out and explore rather than worrying about coming home and editing videos. As much as I love doing it, sometimes you just need to enjoy where you are. So anyway, I've grabbed that same stencil back now, and I'm just doing a few hearts in some white gesso across my page now. So as I said, the page is small, so what you can see is the whole page. I've not missed some of it. That's the page, so it's literally going across the middle of that section. Just through that same stencil. As I said, it was one I created, but I mean, if you want hearts on your page, then you could create a heart stencil yourself. They're easy to do. Draw a load of hearts on a piece of card, like that cereal box I had before, and use your X-Acto knife or craft knife to cut them out. And it's quite easy to make your own stencil. You don't need, you know, the Cricut machines or the silhouette machines. You can do them by hand. This man that I've got here is actually one that I just cut out of a cardboard box, like a cereal box, and I keep it as a mask because I love that figure. So anyway, back to what I'm actually doing. These stamps that I'm using are from a Tracy Scott set. I think it's TS085, but I will put that in the description box for you guys, just in case you're wondering what set they are. But yeah, I love the little crosses. Again, if you don't have the stamps, you could draw them on. Anyone can do little crosses, just that I have the stamps, so I use them. So what I've now done is I've added some paint to my man silhouette. I cut that along with the hearts out of the cardboard from the cereal packet, and I've just added some sort of splashes of paint over him. Not not neatly, I'm going to say. I wanted them to look splashy. And then I've outlined him using my black Posca paint pen. And now I'm just going to sort of lay the hearts down. Apparently they wasn't quite dry, so after I said about the heat in Morocco, they're not dry enough. But my hairdryer is quite powerful and it's blowing them all over the place, so I'm trying to dry them just enough so that I can put them on the page without them sticking to each other, really. So anyway, I'm going to lay them down in rainbow order-ish. I've gone backwards, if you like. So I've started with the pink and purple rather than starting with the red and orange. Sometimes I change the way so that the rainbows are not all looking the same. So I'm just roughly kind of working out where I want them. I want to be able to see those, you know, the orange heart there was hidden under the man. So I figured if I move all the hearts up a little bit, I'll at least see the orange. It won't be hidden. It won't look like it goes straight from red to yellow. And then I'm just cutting a couple of them a little bit smaller, just so that there's a variation in size across my page. Now I've just grabbed out some black ink and I've got a sponge. Sorry you can't see what I'm doing there, but all I'm doing is sponging a tiny little bit of black ink around the edges of those hearts. I just am looking to give them that little bit of a rough outline, and using a sponge with ink is quite a nice sort of haphazard way of getting those outlined without having, you know, that solid line of colour around them. I do love inking up the edges of my pages, so I figured doing it with these hearts would work as well. And then I'm just using a little bit of double-sided sticky tape on the back of each one to pop them where I want them. So I'm going through with like one of each colour first, just to make sure that I've got my sort of initial line where I want it. And then I will go in and add the other hearts sort of sporadically where I feel they're needed. But yeah, first of all, as I said, I just get that initial line down. So there you go, I've got a nice little wavy line of hearts and my little man is going to go there. And here I'm just putting some double-sided sticky tape even, easy for me to say, onto all the other hearts and popping them wherever I feel. I do keep, you know, the yellows touching the yellows, the greens touching the greens, just to give that flow of the rainbow. But I don't think I use them all. I definitely don't use those two hearts that are on the other page. I think I stick with sort of the two of each colour, as it were. And then what I do like to do when I'm using figures in my artwork, I do like to put a heart on their chest. So, or if it's a face, I sometimes put it on the cheek. But yeah, here I'm popping it on the chest. So I've got a little red heart left over and I'm popping it there. What you saw me do there with my craft knife was just cut off the edge of that pink heart at the very end there near the spine. If you put things too close to the spine, when you close your book, I mean, you could get it to bend nicely, but sometimes it just kind of wrinkles. So I've just cut off a sliver of that heart just so that when I close this page, it won't wrinkle up and it'll all stay sort of nice. You don't need to do that. I just prefer it. Now I've grabbed out my Unibal pen. I think this is the broad one. It's got the gold barrel. I think it is broad. And I'm just outlining those hearts again, just to make them pop from that background a little more. And I'm doing the same to the heart that I'm going to put around my on my little man. So as you can see, it makes it really pop out from that purple in the background that he's got on his chest there. A lot of finger tapping there to see what else I need. So I've grabbed out another stamp. This is another Tracy Scott stamp. It's a script one. This one is from TS065 set. And I've just put a little bit of text on my page. I do like a bit of text on my page. There, I don't know if you saw, I decided I'm not going to use the red heart. And what I did is I got a tiny little heart stamp out of my stamp sets. And I stamped a little black heart onto the man. So now I am grabbing out my paint pens and I'm doing some splatter. Now I do get I have gotten, should I say, a comment or two about not needing to bang my paint pens with scissors. If you've watched a few of my videos, you'll know that I just recently had an operation on my arms. So I used the scissors to kind of help me get the paint out of the paint pens, because I can't flick it so well at the moment because of the movement I've got, or the restricted movement in my arms. So that's why. I know you don't need to, you know, bash your pens with a pair of scissors, but at the moment that's how I have to get the ink out without hurting myself. So I'm putting the man on with some double-sided foam tape just to make him sort of raise out from the page a little bit, pop off the page. And now I've grabbed out my Unibal Fineliner. I'm just doing some very sketchy lines around like a border on my page, just to sort of frame that page so that you can see it's an individual page. As you can see, the pocket that I made is below it. And you can see a little glimpse of the tag sticking out that the pocket was made for. Now I'm looking through my stickers. I've got Tim Holtz Small Talk in here, as well as some Art by Marlene quotes. They are sold in books generally with a spiral bound on the top. I think Tim Holtz's ones are, and Marlene's are normally in like a glued top packet. However, because I was travelling, I pulled them all apart so that they could fit into this. So they look like individual sheets, but I assure you they are Tim Holtz Small Talk and Art by Marlene quote stickers. I'm not sure what code the Art by Marlene ones are, but she has quite a lot of quote stickers that are very nice. So you could just have a look at her stuff, and I'm sure you could find a lot of nice quote stickers. Then I'm outlining them with my Stabilo all pen again, just to help those words pop, and that's my page finished. So as you can see, it's like a tiny little page, but it's really nice in my journal. I'll leave you with some close-ups, and if you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Pop me a thumbs up and click that bell so that you can be notified when I go live again. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.